What's up everyone? Welcome to Furious Trailer. And today, we'll be talking about best Iron Man fight scenes from Marvel Cinematic Universe. Number 10. Battle of Gulmira. After learning what his weapons are being used for, Tony Stark realizes he can no longer sit back and do nothing as innocent people suffer. He decides it is time to use the suit that saved his life to go save other people's lives as well. Flying to the Middle East, not far from where he was captured, Iron Man arrives in the besieged village and starts giving the terrorist soldiers a taste of their own medicine. This is the first time we see the actual Iron Man suit in action, and it does not disappoint as he takes down the entire army. Number 9. Iron Man vs. Obadiah Stane. 2008 was a simpler time, when final battles didn't need to involve giant armies bent on destroying planets or conquering universes. No, the first MCU film's climactic showdown was a one-on-one fight between Tony Stark and Obadiah Stane in their respective suits. Much of the battle is spent with Stark being thrown around, only to gain the upper hand once he puts his wits into action.
How'd you solve the icing problem?
Icing problem.
Might want to look into it.
Even still, Obadiah almost ends Stark until Iron Man gets a little help from Pepper Potts. Watching it now, the fight is a refreshing respite of the cluttered, haphazard messes of modern superhero films. Number 8. Iron Man missing pieces. Iron Man 3 tries to switch things up with the story by forcing Tony Stark to try to survive without his armor. However, in one particular scene, Stark proved he can still be pretty badass even with just a few of his armor pieces.
Here it comes. 3, 4...
Shut up.
5, 4, 3...
Told you.
While trapped in Killian's compound, Tony calls upon his suit, but most of the pieces are delayed. So he proceeds to break out and fight his way through a squad of goons with one arm blaster and one boot. It's a lot of fun seeing him improvise in this chaotic and messy way that shows a grittier side to the Iron Man action. Number 7. Iron Man house party scene. It became a joke in the MCU about how many versions of the Iron Man suit Tony has. He's always building and tinkering with his design that he seems to have amassed an endless number of suits. Iron Man 3 decides to let us see all of them in action.
Nice timing.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Give me a suit, okay?
After being without his suit for most of the film, Tony initiates the house party protocol and his army of suits arrive to help take on the army of extremist soldiers. The action sequence is fun and inventive as we see different styles of the suits kicking ass together. Number 6. Iron Man escape from cave. Unlike most of the other heroes in the MCU, Stark's power comes from his mind rather than his muscles. Though he is physically an ordinary man, he was able to create something that made him extraordinary. After being captured by the Ten Rings and forced to build weapons, Stark builds a suit of armor and enacts his escape. Seeing the first Iron Man emerge from the dark and start kicking all the terrorists' asses with a spectacular, cheer-worthy moment.
My turn.
Though the suits would get much more impressive, seeing the low-key suit do its thing was great fun. Number 5. Iron Man vs. Thor. Part of the fun of the first Avengers movie was seeing so many iconic characters sharing the screen for the first time. Not surprisingly, given the egos at play with these characters, they don't all get along so well at first. After Thor arrives and takes Loki, Iron Man takes issue and faces off with the God of Thunder. The scrap between the two is more fun than threatening, but it is filled with great moments. From Thor headbutting Iron Man to the lightning recharging Iron Man's battery, it's a real crowd-pleasing moment.
Power at 400% capacity.
How about that?
Number 4. Iron Man vs. Captain America. Given how many enemies are out there, the Avengers sure spend a lot of time fighting each other. However, this particular battle is much more serious than a grudge match, and it makes for one of the most personal and heartbreaking scenes in the MCU. After learning Bucky killed his parents, Tony wants revenge, but Captain America is standing in his way. After fighting alongside each other many times, these two heroes face off in a brutal fight where they are truly trying to hurt each other. It is a shocking fight that leaves more than just physical damage.
You don't deserve it. My father made that shield.
Number 3. Iron Man vs. Thanos Battle on Titan. Very early in Avengers Infinity War, Thanos proved there were few heroes that would be a match for him. While Iron Man might not seem as strong as Thor and Hulk, he showed he could give Thanos a pretty hard time one-on-one. With the other Avengers out, Iron Man battles the Mad Titan, trying desperately to keep him from getting the Time Stone. You can see the desperation in Stark's face as he throws everything he has at Thanos and won't back down. While he doesn't win, he does manage to draw blood.
All that for a drop of blood.
Number 2. Hulk vs. Hulkbuster. Avengers Age of Ultron might not be the most beloved MCU movie out there, but it did give us a spectacular showdown between Iron Man and a raging Hulk stuck under Scarlet Witch's spell. Seeing Tony Stark rock his iconic Hulkbuster armor was a treat in itself. Seeing him use it to smash the Hulk through a bunch of buildings was even better. There's a long legacy of Hulk fighting his fellow Avengers in MCU films, but this fight with Iron Man remains one of his best. Who can forget Tony Stark begging his buddy to go to sleep as he lovingly bashes him in the face?
Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
Number 1. I Am Iron Man snap scene. What would all of these other moments mean if they didn't lead to something moving, poignant, and memorable? That's why the number 1 moment is Iron Man snap scene. Now, Tony Stark has always been a futurist, but early in the movie, we saw he finally had someone whose future he was fighting for.
I love you 3000.
And so when Doctor Strange reminded him that there was only one way to win, he knew what he had to do. And he did it in classic Tony Stark fashion, bringing the entire MCU franchise full circle by finishing off Thanos, his forces, and this grand chapter of the MCU by uttering the phrase that started it all.
And I am Iron Man.
So what do you think of our list of top 10 Iron Man fight scenes from MCU? It was really hard to choose. Let us know your personal favorite top 10 moments in the comments. And also, if you want a part 2, let us know in the comments.